Let's have a look into the pros and cons side of having running the standard SOQL in this way and processing that result of the standard SOQL with the normal for loop like this. The pros are it is very easy to understand and the results of this SOQL query will be available even after the for loop. That is, over here we are able to print the size of the list variable. The only con side of having running this standard SOQL like this is possible hit of heap size governor limit exception, because this SOQL statement returning all the record at once into the heap. Let's assume our SOQL is fetching large text area fields or more number of records, etc. In that case, there is a chance of that heap size governor limit gets exceeded and our transaction might fail. Let's look into pros and cons side of this SOQL for loop with syntax 1. The first one is this syntax is also easy to understand. And the next pros is since it does not load all the records at once into the heap, instead it processes the records batches by batches, the possibility of hitting the heap size limit is almost not possible. Let's check cons side of this one. Possible hit of CPU time governor limit exception. Why? Because it uses back and forth calls inside, and because of those back and forth calls, it may take more CPU time. And the next disadvantage is the SOQL result which were fetched inside this for loop will not be available after this for loop. For example, over here we cannot make use of result of that SOQL. Now let's see pros and cons of this SOQL for loop syntax too. The first pros is no possibility of heap size issue with this SOQL for loop, because this is also fetching the batches by batches similar like earlier SOQL for loop syntax 1. Hence, there is no possibility of heap size issue with this SOQL for loop syntax 2 also. And the next pros is the code is bulkified. Hence, there are less chance of getting the DML governor limit hit with this SOQL for loop syntax 2. Now let's look into the cons side of it. The first one is possible hit of CPU time governor limit exception, because internally it is also using the same query and query more calls and it is fetching the batches by batches. So it may consume more CPU time inside, and because of that there is a possibility of hit of CPU governor time limit exception if we have more number of records to be processed. The next cons is the SOQL results collected will not be available after the for loop, and it is little complex to understand because of this bulkified code inside this for loop. For more details, please watch this full video on our channel.